Hello and welcome back to Bicycle Legs Talks Music and another episode of What's in Bicycle Legs' Bag. Now, I wasn't planning to do two of these in a row, literally one day after the other, but I went out to my favourite record store today, Stash Records in Camp Hill, and went through their cheap bins, also known as the alfresco chum, and had rather the score. Got myself 8 records today and wanted to share them with you. So let's go through them. These are, again, you know, with the cheap bins, I often like to get things that I'm not as familiar with, things that I've heard of before, that sort of thing. And that's what I did today. Although, you know, a number of these artists, I have 1 or 2 albums by already, so I know a little bit of what to expect. But yeah, let's get into it. And the first one that I got today is by a duo that I have the first album of and the last album of, but nothing else. So I'll be interested to see what this one's like. This one's somewhere in the middle. The album is called Sunnyvista and the artist is Richard and Linda Thompson. Now, I own I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight, which is their first album, and Shoot Out the Lights, which is their last album. And nothing in between, as I said. So this one is from 1979. It's on Chrysalis Records. This is an Australian pressing. Funnily enough, out of the 8 records that I've got today, this is the only Australian pressing that I got. So everything else is from overseas, particularly Europe, although there's one American one that we will look at as well. But I don't know any of the songs on this album. I don't know. There's the duo on the back there. It's interesting artwork, as if it's like some sort of leisure complex or some such. We've got songs like Civilization, Borrowed Time, Saturday Rolling Around, You're Gonna Need Somebody, Why Do You Turn Your Back, Sunnyvista, Lonely Hearts, Sisters, Justice in the Street, Traces of My Love. As well as Richard and Linda Thompson, you got Dave Pegg, who, you know, played a lot with Jethro Tull, played with Fairport Convention. You know, he plays a lot of bass on this album. Got Pete Wingfield as one of the keyboard players on this album. You've got people like Glenn Tilbrook and Jerry Rafferty, among a bunch of other people, contributing backing vocals to various songs on this album. Dave Maddox plays drums on one track. He would play with them on a lot of their other stuff, as well as, you know, playing with a bunch of other people. Like, he was in Fairport Convention too, if memory serves me correctly. He also played on my favourite XTC album, None Such. So yeah, some big names helping out Richard and Linda Thompson on this one. So, you know, with all of these records, let me know in the comments what I'm in for. So if you're a Richard and Linda Thompson fan, let me know if this is one of their good ones. You know, you might be of the opinion that they're all good ones. So, but I'll be interested to hear what you have to say. So the next one we're going to have a look at is an artist who I'm familiar with in band situations, but not as a solo artist, although, you know, he's leading a band here, obviously. Great jazz fusion guitar player, you know, one of the legends. I'm, of course, talking about John McLaughlin, and this album is called Devotion. And this came out before he'd done Mahavishnu Orchestra. Originally, this album came out in 1970. This pressing is from 1972, and it's from the Netherlands, and it's on something called Douglas Records, which I don't know at all, but it's distributed by CBS. So yeah, there's like one big long track on this album, which is the title track, Devotion, and then some shorter songs. You've got things like Dragon Song, Marbles, Siren, the rather wonderfully titled Don't Let the Dragon Eat Your Mother, So a couple of Dragon related songs here, and Purpose of When. As well as John McLaughlin, you've got Buddy Miles on drums there, big name obviously. And you've got Billy Rich on bass and Larry Young on organ and electric piano. So should be a really good album. I'm assuming this is going to be sort of early jazz fusion-y kind of music. So even if it is, I'm going to enjoy it immensely because I love that sort of music quite a lot. So the next two albums are by the same artist, and they're actually an artist that I picked up a record of in my July What's in Bicycle Legs bag episode, which is the last one I did when I went to Stash. And the one that I picked up in July is widely considered to be their worst record. I played it and it didn't blow me away, but I quite enjoyed it actually. I mean, it wasn't obviously what they're most well known for, you know, which is progressive rock, but the band of course I'm talking about is Renaissance. I picked up two of their records today from the 70s, so these should be ones that Renaissance fans will tell me are much better records. The first one is a double album, and it's a live album. It is live at Carnegie Hall. This is originally from 1976. This pressing is 1977 dated, and it is actually a Spanish pressing. It's on RCA Records. So we've got quite a number of European pressings in this lot, as I say. So I don't know why that is. Maybe somebody brought in a European collection and traded it in at Stash. But yeah, this one, side 1 and 2, so the first disc, you've got some, well, I wouldn't say shorter songs, you know, they're still getting into the 9-10 minute mark, a lot of these, but they're shorter by comparison. Things like Prologue, Ocean Gypsy, Can You Understand on side 1, Carpet of the Sun, Running Hard, and Mother Russia on side 2. But then sides 3 and 4, you've got two side-long epics. On side 3, you've got Scheherazade. That was off the previous studio album, if I'm correct there. And that one's considered to be one of their greatest albums. So I'll be greatly intrigued to hear the live version of that song. And then the other side-long epic on side 4 is called Ashes Are Burning. I don't know anything about that. The only Renaissance albums I owned before this are I can never remember whether it was Live Wire or Live Line or Lifeline. The one that I bought from 1983 in July that everybody told me was terrible. And the only other one that I own of theirs is an album called Novella, which is from 1977. The other Renaissance album I picked up today is actually the very next album from 1978, and that is A Song for All Seasons. Now, I have heard good things about this album. So, again, Renaissance fans, let me know in the comments what I'm in for with this album. It's on Warner Brothers Records. This is actually a German pressing. I have a few other German pressings coming up, but you'll see why when we get to those records. Now, this one doesn't have any side-long epics. In fact, it's got 4 songs on each side, so a little more concise, I guess, but still generally considered to be progressive rock, this album, as far as I'm led to believe. You've got Opening Out, Day of the Dreamer, Closer Than Yesterday, Kindness at the End, Back Home Once Again, which is apparently the theme from a TV series called The Paper Lads. She Is Love, Northern Lights, and the title track, A Song for All Seasons. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to that one because, as I say, I have heard very good things about that album. Now, the next one is again by a band that I only own 1 or 2 things by. I think I own a CD and a vinyl record of theirs. I know nothing at all about this album. So again, if you're a fan of this band, let me know in the comments what I'm in for. The album is called Deep Cuts and the band is Strawbs. This one's from 1976. And this is actually a US pressing. It's on Oyster Records by Polydor. Now, if memory serves me correctly, Oyster Records is a record label that was set up by the members of Deep Purple. So I'm sure I've got like 1 or 2 Rainbow albums that are on Oyster Records. So again, I don't know anything about this record, so I don't know what these songs are like. The first track, the title's very suggestive, shall we say. I Only Want My Love to Grow in You. You've got Turn Me Around, Hard, Hard Winter, My Friend Peter, The Soldier's Tale. And then on side 2, you've got Simple Visions, Charmer, Wasting My Time Thinking of You, Beside the Rio Grande, and So Close and Yet So Far Away. Yeah, I will be very, very intrigued to see what this album is like. You've got the main band is Dave Cousins, Dave Lambert, Chaz Cronk and Rod Coombs. And then you've got a few, you've got Robert Kirby, John Mealing and Rupert Holmes all contributing some keyboards. So yeah, again, let me know what I'm in for. If you know this record, be very interested to see what you have to say about it. Now, the last 3 records are the other German pressings that I was alluding to, and they are all German artists. They're all sort of electronic artists or Krautrock or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, the first one, I actually didn't know this guy's name at all. But you'll see why I ended up picking this one up, other than it's that kind of genre that I'm into. I do like that sort of German electronic 70s music. This guy is called Eberhard Schöner, and the album is called Video Magic. Now, the main reason I picked this record up is because a couple of these guys you might recognize as his backing band. There's Sting and Andy Summers there from The Police, along with Olaf Kubler on saxes and Everett Freerman. I'm probably completely butchering that pronunciation, but he's the drummer. And Eberhard Schöner plays various keyboards, synthesizers, that sort of thing. So I have no idea what this kind of music is. I mean, I had a quick look when I was browsing through, and it listed it, you know, sort of electronic and progressive rock and all that sort of thing. So I thought that's worth taking a punt on. As I say, German pressing. This one is on Harvest Records, which is always a good sign for me, because I like a lot of Harvest artists. So fun fact, the first Bebop Deluxe record I ever bought, I bought in a cheap bin somewhere, and I bought it because I'd heard the name Bebop Deluxe. I'd never heard a note of their music, but they were on Harvest, so I thought it's worth a punt. A bit similar with this, and as I say, also, you know, obviously Sting and Andy Summers on it. I thought, I'm intrigued enough, I need to know what this sounds like, so I picked it up. I mean, you've got songs like Octagon, Speech Behind Speech, Natural High, Code Word Elvis, I have no idea what that's about, Video Magic, Nightbound City, San Francisco Waitress, and Cohen. And that last track, Cohen, is like 12 minutes long, so sounds like it should be an intriguing record. I'm really, really looking forward to having a listen to that one. Now, the next German one that we're going to have a look at that I picked up today is a band, the name rang a bell, but not quite. The album is called Correlations, and the band is Ashra. And I looked it up. This is what used to be Ashra Temple. Again, a German band that I don't own anything of, but that I've heard of before. You know them as a Krautrock kind of band. This album's from 1979, so it's a little later on. It's on Virgin Records. German pressing, as I say. And yeah, again, it's just something that I think I'll really enjoy. The cover is very strange. Drinking fountain. You got tracks like Ice Train, Club Cannibal. There's another strange title for you. Oasis, Bamboo Sands, Morgana di Capo, Pas de Toi, and Fantasis. So again, I believe this is all instrumental music. I don't think there's any vocals on this. And you know, if it's that sort of electronic German or Krautrock or whatever you want to call it, I mean, I don't own a lot of that genre, but what I do own I really like. So it's a genre I'm always keen to collect more of, but generally can tend to be a little bit expensive, but thankfully not today. And then the last one definitely falls into that German electronic music category. He's an artist that I've picked up a couple of records of from the Alfresco Chum at Stash before and enjoyed immensely. So when I saw another one of his records there, I was like, yep, definitely picking that up. And that is Mirage by Klaus Schulze. Again, German pressing. This one on the legendary German label Brain. And this one, like other Klaus Schulze records, I've only got a couple, as I say, but he tends to do these side-long compositions, you know, electronic, ambient, whatever you want to call it. It's got a bit of a Tangerine Dream vibe, the ones of his that I've gotten before. So I'm hoping this one will be in a similar sort of vein. This one's from 1977, so it's got two side-long tracks. One is called Velvet Voyage and the other is called Crystal Lake. He performs all the sounds and what have you, produces the album himself, everything. So again, should be something that I'll really enjoy. But if you're into, you know, Klaus Schulze or German electronic music more generally, you know, let me know in the comments. For any of these records, let me know in the comments what I'm in for. Have I picked up some good ones? Have I maybe picked up a dud here or there? And most importantly, let me know what you've picked up lately, because I'd love to hear what you've been buying when you go on record or CD shopping. So do let me know, and let's all share what we've picked up lately at our favourite record stores. Please do like, share and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. If you're new to the channel, please go and have a look at some of my other videos. I have everything playlisted, so if you want to look at some of my other What's in Bicycle Legs Bag episodes, I have a playlist for those. If you want to see some of my Studio Albums Ranked episodes, I have a playlist for those. And if you want to see my appearances on other people's channels, I also have a playlist for those. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at bicyclelegs on Instagram, Twitter and a bunch of other places. I also have a dedicated Bicycle Legs Facebook page and a Bicycle Legs Teespring. Links are all in the doobly-doo. Please do give those all a follow and join in the conversation. I'd really love to have you there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.